Good morning, friends. And yeah, John, one of the mottos is you got to do the work. One of several mottos, along with always be learning. And there's a couple other ones in there. Oh, it's a fluid situation. And we've got about 3 or 4 mottos that have developed over the years here. But welcome, everybody, wherever you are, all over the world. And welcome to today's Cichlids and Coffee. Oh, yeah. And I hope you're having a cup of your favorite beverage wherever you are, and hopefully in one of those mugs, which are available at the Teespring store. And welcome to GP, one of my wonderful moderators. Amber Key is here. And let's see here. Barrios, Aquatics, and let's see, Peas and Haps Forever. We got John Wallace. Yeah. Jerry's Fish Room. Hey, Jerry. Spent a little time with Jerry this last weekend. Marcus McClung. Good morning to you, my friend. And hey, Joe. Joe's here. And Patrick Maloney's here. And Amber Key. And yes, the outdoors is calling. I was house sitting for my daughter and giving her dog a about a 1.5 mile walk twice a day. And I couldn't believe the amount of life that's. She lives in an area that has lots of open space and woods, and just the birds are singing and the squirrels are hopping, and it drove her dog crazy. Loves to chase birds and squirrels, so I've got to put my shoulder back into the socket. So in the jeans. Good morning, in the jeans, and let's see here. Cat Sailor is here. Hey, Cat Sailor. And Tank Boss 5.9, Vibes Aquatics. We're going to be talking about Vibes Aquatics today, and social distancing. Good to see you. And let's go ahead and let's see, get some more folks on the stream. You folks, I'm sure, shared the link. Get all your fishy buddies on here. We have a lot to talk about. I'm going to be talking about the direction of the hobby. I'm going to be getting some comments from a lot of you in footage that I have not released from Aquashella, and including some comments on the Lacey Act. I'm also going to be doing a feeding of some krill for these monsters over here. They're going to get a little bit of krill. They love that. And so we'll be we've got a lot to do. Dice 420, NWA is here. Tabarak Aquatics is here. And Andrew Mays, good morning to you. Lumpy Dog in the house. Eric Miranda, Timothy Conme. And hey, everybody, welcome to today's installment of Cichlids and Coffee. Let's go ahead and do the official start. Hey, give me a sound check and a video check. AV check. How does the video and sound seem to you? So I can make some adjustments if needed. But let's get it officially underway. What do you say? If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell and the thumbs up, and let YouTube know that something good is going on here, and that way they'll share the channel with other fish keepers like you and me. And if you would like to support what's going on around here, consider becoming a Patreon member. For as little as $3 a month, you get previews of upcoming videos. You also get videos that are not public, and other special messages that are only for Patreon members. And if you go to higher levels of membership, you do get some cool stuff. You can also pick up T-shirts and mugs and stuff at the Teespring store. Be sure to use the code LIVESTREAM for a 10% discount. And if you use my Amazon link to get to Amazon, anything you buy on Amazon, whether it's from my fish store or anywhere on Amazon, gives the channel a little bit of support. So that's a good thing. So big shout out to the key sponsor of the channel, which is the Cichlid Shack. And if you order fish from the Cichlid Shack, be sure to use Shack Attack 10 for a 10% discount on all products and food, and Shack Attack 15 for 15% off on fish. So just something to consider. And let's see here. Thank you to all of you who have supported the channel. And a big shout out to a lot of new Patreon members. You can see here the list of Patreon members. And we've added Patrick, and Denny's Aquatics jumped in, and Jenny Delgado. So thank you so much, folks. Very appreciated. You helped cover the expenses at Aquashella. I think it came out to about a little over $1,000, and my wife hasn't seen the bill yet, so pray for me. And she's usually very understanding, but that's a big number. That's a as one of my sons says, that's a big ask. That's a big ask. So we have a few things to talk about today, and I do want to go ahead and get right into it. I have a special video for you. Let's see how many people are on, because I don't want folks to get on and then, oh, I missed the video. What do we have here? 62. I don't know. Should we wait till we get to about 100, or should we go ahead and just reward the early birds, since they were here early and on time? Let them watch it, and let the other ones have to catch it on the replay. Make them suffer. Yeah. I don't know. Should I be mean? I don't know. Anyway, what do you think? So let me see. How's the sound? How's video and audio? Let me look through the comments here. Let's see here. Anybody comment on the audio and video? Looking and sounding good. Darth Blunt. Thank you, Darth Blunt. And I'm sure there's an interesting name behind that, or interesting story behind that name. Darth Blunt. All right. I don't know. If you were a Seth Lord, would I fear you with a name like Darth Blunt? I don't know. Darth Blunt. Does that scare me if I was like a Jedi? I don't know. Darth Blunt. Hey, Paul's here, and Paul says, wait a few minutes for more to join. Okay, that sounds nice. Sound and audio good. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Jonah. So, as you know, I was away, and boy, what a playground! What a playground for fish keepers. If you haven't already done so, you know, certainly smaller shows like the American Cichlids Association, those are fun. You do meet some great people, and you get to see probably more fish at something like the American Cichlid, the ACA meetings, because it's really all about fish. There'll be a few vendors there, but it's mostly fish. Central, South American, and African cichlids everywhere. This Aquashella, there were fish there. Local vendors were there. Imperial was not there. Imperial Tropicals did not show up, which surprised me. I think they're not too far away. But you could pick up fish. You could pick up discus, guppies, koi, fancy goldfish, some African cichlids, and lots of plecos, and a tremendous amount of shrimp, like, you know, your invertebrates, and an amazing selection of coral. If you're into corals, Aquashella is the place to go. I mean, there's an entire, I don't know, maybe a third of the hall, or maybe more, is just a dark, black light lit coral section dedicated exclusively to corals, and which is just amazing as you walk through it. Unfortunately, the corals don't show up on the cameras as well as I'd like. I did notice that when you shoot them low through the side glass, you actually get better color than shooting them from above. I don't know why, but at any rate, I had trouble with getting good resolution, good color out of the corals with the cameras. Both the iPhone, the Pro Max, and the Sony, neither one of them could really pull out the colors of those corals. Tim is here, and I think NL, is that Netherlands, Tim? You're from the Netherlands? Welcome, Tim. I'm glad you're here. Davey is here as well. Davey Larson, and let's see here. Jerry says he got some shrimp from Flip Aquatics. Now, I'll tell you something. What about that Rob, Jerry? Rob from Flip Aquatics. One of the most joyful and friendly individuals I met at the show. One of my conclusions is that people that keep fish are not necessarily jerks. They're mostly good people. I mean, just about. I mean, think about it. You spend your time taking care of fish and feeding them, and arranging plants and aquascaping. You're not out beating people up or rolling with gangs or anything. You're usually a pretty cool guy, and I was very very impressed and very happy with all the people that I met and that came up to me. And let's see, Trav de Cichlids Keeper. Hello, Trav. And Jerry, Rob is great. Yeah, Rob is just. I'm just. It's just a joy. There's certain people that when you're around them, they crush your soul, and then there's other people when you're around them, you feel very comfortable and elevated, and he's not a soul crusher. He's actually you feel like you're around someone very friendly, who doesn't consider himself too important or it doesn't take himself too seriously. I know there's some folks out there that take themselves too seriously. I'll tell you, in my opinion, there was a big shot at the show, and that was Brett. Brett from the show, the TV program Tanked. Maybe some of you have seen Tanked. And this guy, I mean, he comes right up to you, puts his arm around you, starts talking like you're old friends. I mean, what a great guy, Brett from the show Tanked. And we started talking, and we had something really funny happen, and it kind of set me back a little bit, because I'm in a conversation with Brett, and someone comes up to us and says, can I take a picture with you? Just sort of generally kind of throws it into the conversation. And so I'm thinking, hey, here's Brett from Tanked. I start to phase over to the side, and the person stands next to me, puts his arm around me, and takes a picture and walks away. And Brett looked at me and went, all right, that was impressive. Oh, I thought it was so funny, because I don't consider myself in any stretch of the imagination a celebrity. Amber Key, it's all about energy, ban positive, caring people in this industry. That's what I find. That's what I find. And if a person is going to take the time to study and make an environment safe for a little fish to live in, that person is not going to go out there and try. I don't think is going to be out there trying to rob your grandma. So, hey, Bratface. Bratface is here. And hey, Frank. Frank, you're going to be in today's video. Don't go anywhere. I got something for you. My friend Frank Vera. Frank took me out to eat some authentic Puerto Rican food over in Aquashella, and I got 3 meals out of 1 serving. 3 meals. The thing was massive. And if you know Puerto Rican food, there was yuca, arroz con gandule, there was costilla, which is ribs, and just absolutely delicious. And I had to put it in the refrigerator at the hotel. I got three meals. I told Frank, I said, if I lived in Puerto Rico, I'd weigh 350 pounds, no doubt. There was plátano maduros. They cook up these sweet bananas, and just forget about it. Forget about it. You were missed, James. You were missed. I was looking forward to running around with you, but I do know you've got you've got so many orders to fill. You're in the middle of that build out, and by the way, folks, I'm going to take a trip out and completely ambush James while I've got him on the chat here. I'm going to go out there to Arizona, and we're gonna film his new facility. He has a state-of-the-art facility that will just blow your mind. So in the middle of trying to catch up from the COVID incident he had, he's also was right in the middle of this build out, and there's massive, beautiful tanks. There's automated water changing. There's state-of-the-art humidifiers and tankless water heaters, and it's just amazing. And we're gonna take a tour of that place. I want to be the first one to get out there. So don't tell any other YouTubers about my idea. Let's keep it a secret. And And anyway, and Frankie Fingers, yeah, they didn't have any cuchiflitos. They didn't have it. I'm sorry. So so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and play this special video, which is there's several things about Aquashella that I love, and the one I love the most, and you know this. Yes, I love the vendors and the products. I love seeing that. It tells me the direction of the hobby. You start to see some of the saltwater technology become less expensive and start to work its way into freshwater. You see that everywhere, just like you see in the racing industry. You start to see automotive and motorcycle technology start to work its way into the commercial vehicles. So you start to see this also with freshwater. And so I love the vendors. I love the products. I love seeing the fish. And it always amazes me that they can set up a tank and put discus or saltwater, the corals and clownfish and have these things set up like the night before, and the next day they're beautiful and they're running and the fish are all vibrant and healthy, and then they tear them all down on Sunday night and they pack them and they leave, and it's amazing what they do. So at any rate, I love the vendors and products. I love the fish, but the thing I love the most is the people. And I have about 35 minutes of footage that I was going to release as one video, but I started thinking, I could break this up into 3 videos and just release 3 videos, and then you folks can watch and not watch, whatever you want. And one video is going to be the people, my favorite part of Aquashella. The next video will be about the fish, and then a video on the vendors and products. Each video will be roughly about 10 to 15 minutes instead of having to sit through a 35-minute video, which for some people is just too much. So I'm going to go ahead and play for you first time ever a part of the content that I took. I took a lot of content with my Sony camera, and then I took a lot of what we call in the video world B-roll, backup roll with my cell phone. And so this is almost entirely cell phone. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is the people of Aquashella. Before I leave, thank you, Danny. Daniel Lopez comes in with a super chat. Thank you, my friend. I will tell my wife that we're chipping away at the Aquashella. The $1,200 Aquashella expense. But honey, I got a super chat today from Oink Master Supreme Forever. You are in today's video. Are you ready? Are you ready? Gather the family around the computer there, or on the TV, however you're watching it, because you are going to be featured, my friend. So let's put some faces with some of these names. Let's go ahead and jump in right now.
On Saturday evening, they got all of the creators, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram people. They brought us all over to one area, and we took a big group shot. Some of the folks not in it, like Drew from Fishy Biz, he couldn't make it. But there's Drew, along with Brandon, the blind fish keeper, and Jerry from Jerry's Fish Room. They gave us a table where we could sign things and meet people, and it was just kind of a cool little setup. You can see Drew there signing something. All of us were set up to give talks. I was set up for a talk at 6 p.m. on the 10 tips for a better cichlid tank, and you can watch that on the Aquashella channel. My original slated guest was going to be James Largo from the Cichlid Shack, but as it turns out, he couldn't make it, and I was also going to have Joe, so Joe ended up being the key guest.
All right, so I'm here with my buddy. Hey, Joe from...
I got t-shirts!
We're giving away t-shirts.
And stickers!
And stickers.
And pins!
If you see us, run us down, because we'll give you some stuff. But I'm here with Glass, co-owner of Glass Cages. We're going to be talking at 6 p.m. We're giving a live stream. And what do you think of the show?
I love it. A lot of great people. A lot of good conversation. So many passionate people. That's what I like. It's infectious out here.
People passionate about fish, tanks, and everything, corals and plants, and yeah, I love it. The best part of Aquashella for me has always routinely been the people part of it. You know,
I enjoy
hooking up with guys like you, and last year with your son and your friend, and anyway, just making those connections. So at any rate, I just want you folks out there to meet Joe and see him up close.
Oh no, I should have shaved.
All right,
Well, come find us. Got shirts walking around the aisles.
T-shirts and stickers. Anybody that runs us down. All right, thanks.
Go.
The panels were back to back all day long, and here's one going on. And you really couldn't walk by the YouTuber area while the show was going without seeing some prominent creative individuals on a panel delivering something on the Aquashella channel. And so that was a lot of fun. And next year what they'll do is they'll have speakers. They'll have actually some speakers plugged in so people can hear the talks as they're being delivered. If you go to the Aquashella channel, you can see the different topics that were delivered over both days. Quite a few different topics. I'm sure there's something there you'll find interesting. A lot of my favorite YouTubers were there, including John from KG Tropicals and Jason and his wife from Primetime Aquatics. It was just a pleasure to be able to spend a little time and speak with these folks. All three of them are just a class act. The Aquarium Co-op booth has got to be probably one of the most visited and most popular booths at the entire show. People were lining up to meet Zenzo and Corey and the rest of the co-op team and pick up their free t-shirt, which was for channel members. And the line to pick up the t-shirts never slowed down. It just went along the side here. You'll see to the back of the convention area, and then turned and then went along the back wall. They definitely had one of the most popular exhibits and in the entire show.
So I'm here with a friend of the channel, Frank. Frank here from Puerto Rico. Yes, Frank, say hello to everybody.
Hello guys, I having a good time here with Ben, and everything that is going on here is great to greet you. So here I am, having a good time.
Let's say hello to our friends who speak Spanish. Vamos a dar un saludo grande a los amigos que hablan español.
Hola, saludos a todos. Estamos aquí en Aquashella disfrutando, pasándola bien en este magnífico evento. Así que si tienen una oportunidad, lléguense hasta acá, saludan a Ben, pasamos un buen rato y Dios los bendiga.
Gracias, amigo. All right. My contact point here at Aquashella on getting here and being part of the fish tuber community, or the creative, what they call the creator community, was Carrie. Now is it Science Gal Aquatics?
Yep, Science Gal Aquatics.
Science Gal Aquatics on YouTube. Check out her channel, and you can see we're being photobombed there by Caveman Aquatics. But thank you so much for your help.
Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Come to Aquashella. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet people and get a face with what is often just names.
Yes.
You know, for me, certainly, I bet people come up to me and go, I'm, Voodoo 772, and oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. It's so nice to see people in person.
That's
and put
right.
that connection. It's awesome.
And check out her channel on YouTube, folks. You do live streams too, don't you?
Yes, we do live streams, and I have mainly live bears, but I do have a silver arowana too. So
There you go.
all kinds of things.
There you go. Check her out, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey y'all, this is Eddie. I'm Vibe Aquatics. Check her out. Ben Ochart's an amazing guy.
I paid him $10 to say that.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support of the channel, my friend.
Definitely.
Okay, I am here with Roland. Hey, Roland. Hey, how you doing, Ben? Roland's a fan of the channel, and what do you think about Aquashella?
I think about Aquashella, it's awesome. Everybody needs to come if you haven't been here. So,
Awesome.
yeah, a bunch of people like us.
A lot to see, and I get to meet people who watch the channel and their beautiful families.
Family here, Ava, Roland Jr., my wife Angie.
Awesome.
We love Ben's channel.
And thank you so much. Appreciate it.
right.
I want you to say both your name on YouTube, but also share if you want your first name. And here we go.
I'm Oink Master Supreme forever. My nickname is Rose Crystal.
Oink Master Supreme forever. I love these YouTube names. At any rate, a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure meeting you too. It's been an honor to meet everybody. It really has. Thank you.
We're part of a great community, and she's part of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, so I'm here with two prominent YouTubers. modest and prominent. Zenzo and Jason. So, guys, I just want your 2-minute take on all the clamor that's been going on about the Lacey Act. Zenzo, you first. Just give me your 1 minute, 2 minute.
Yeah, for me, it's like 30 seconds. I don't have a very strong opinion about it. I know a lot of people very passionate about this and they're upset. For me, I feel like there are so many other fish in the hobby that I'm still going to be able to enjoy, that I'm not overly concerned about it. I've gotten a lot of questions about it, and the way that I don't feel strongly really about having to, fight the bill very much. It might not be popular, but that's just how I feel. I have so many other things that are going on in the world right now that I think are more important about writing to my senator about than what kind of fish I get to keep. So that's my opinion.
Very cool. I appreciate that a lot. Jason, what are your thoughts on the Lacey Act?
Well, again, I don't know a lot about it. What I do know is that they're trying to put a white list together of fish that you can keep, and if you can't keep them, they have to do studies. I don't know how that's going to impact the aquarium hobby. I would probably defer to the people who are really in the industry that know exactly how it's going to impact their businesses. For me, I don't know how that's going to look just yet. I haven't got enough information to really feel extremely worried just yet.
I appreciate that. So the consensus really is take a deep breath. Let's not worry so much. And I agree with you, Zenzo. We got bigger issues.
Bigger issues, and there's a lot of wonderful fish still out there that people don't keep, that they are able to keep. And, other countries have had, white lists before. There are fish that I can't keep in California as an example, and I still have a great time in the hobby. So
awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, I'm here with Flip Aquatics, Rob, and just want to say I've been watching your channel. You get some great stuff on there.
Thank you, Ben.
I know you were away from YouTube for a little bit. Now you're coming back strong, and you're doing importing and stuff. So I just want to ask you a quick question.
Yep.
Your thoughts, 2 minutes or less, on the Lacey Act and the impact it could have on someone like yourself. Everybody's different, but what about for you?
Well, so for me, I'm a unique individual. First thing, the Lacey Act would definitely impact our business significantly. Potentially could put us out of business, which would not be a good thing. But on the other side of that is I do not stress about it at all. I'm a firm believer that God has a plan for everything, and it all just kind of works out. And so I don't stress about it. I'm doing everything I can to get it overturned, talking to our senators, things like that. Luckily, I'm friends with somebody that is friends with our main senator, and so it's good. I mean, we're making as many strides to impact it as we can. But at the end of the day, you can't stress about things you can't control, and that's one big thing is this is out of our control. All we can do is voice our opinion and go from there.
So we shouldn't get all worked up. Just sort of take a breath, keep enjoying and promoting the hobby, and doing the work.
Yep. Got to work the rest of it out.
Okay, folks, if you're not familiar with Flip Aquatics, check them out on YouTube. You got some good content there.
Awesome.
Thank you, my friend.
Ben.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
guys.
All right, so I'm here with old friend, and you know him as John, KG Tropicals.
Knows me.
Everybody knows John. Quick question, John. First of all, what do you think of the show?
Amazing. Way bigger than last year. You were here last year, weren't you?
Yeah, last summer.
It was a great show last year, but it's even better this year. So overwhelming, exhausting, but a blast.
I agree. Great the way they laid it out. I like the way they have the speakers behind a wall so you don't get distracted by noise.
Yes.
Much better. They thought it out better.
Yep.
So one quick question for you, and just your quick take on. I'm just asking a lot of YouTubers here your take on the Lacey Act, especially for you because I think you're selling fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I am somebody that believes in not panicking until I know it's time to panic. And threats don't panic me. I don't know. Listen, I don't even know what I'm talking about when it comes to this thing. So as far as I know, it's not a done deal. It's something that happens almost every year, and it's never amounted to anything. So I am not going to hit the panic button until I know I have to hit the panic button. And that's hopefully going to help me to live to be a very old man, because I'm not worrying about things that I can't control. If it happens, yeah, it's something that I'll certainly probably regret not preparing for. But as of right now, I don't know enough about it to really worry about it.
Very cool. So let's not panic. Let's all take a deep breath and keep enjoying the hobby. And thank you, John.
Hey, you're very welcome.
Give our best to Lisa. We miss her here.
I miss her too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, thank you, buddy.
All right.
So many great people at the show. Here I am with Brett from the TV program Tanked, one of my favorite programs, along with Jason. And here I am with Corey from the Aquarium Co-op. Folks I would have liked to have spent more time with and talked more with, but you can only get so much done in 2 days. I was able to attend one of the talks, the one given by John from KG Tropicals, and unbeknownst to him, he had actually won second place in a aquascaping contest. And while he was up on stage, well, here, I'll show you.
They have a skill that I don't have, which is an art. See, you're an artist, so you should be able to do it better than me.
But I'm a drawing artist. There's different types.
Go, John. Go, John. Go, John.
Hey, give it up for John! All right, sorry.
So much fun, and I wish I could have included everybody. I had so many folks walk up to me, and some who didn't walk up to me, and I found out later they were there, and they messaged me somehow that they had seen me, but I was in the middle of a conversation, and I really regretted not being able to see them. But I had so many people come up to me and introduce themselves and talk about what they had gotten out of the channel, and it was just such a great experience to get that feedback face to face, because I spend my time talking into the lens of a camera, and you don't get that. This is the closest that where I get feedback, where I have the chat and you folks are giving me some type of feedback. But to be there live and to have people come up to you with their family and shake your hand and want to take a picture with you, and it's just kind of heartwarming, and it kind of makes it all worthwhile for me. It really does. And I remember one of my sons, and I guess I'll be bragging a little bit, but it was the junior college playoffs, and single elimination. They were down 4-7 in the last inning, and my son was a designated hitter, and this is in junior college, in a California quarterfinal for the state championship, and they called him cold off the bench, and bases were loaded. He got down to 2 strikes, and it was 2 outs, and he hit a grand slam. And for those of you who don't know baseball, everybody came home. All of a sudden, they were ahead by a few runs, and I told him, I said, you know what? All those years of equipment and early mornings for travel baseball and everything, it's all paid off. It was worth every single penny to just see that one home run. And so I feel that way when people come up to me and they say hi and they introduce themselves. I feel like it makes all the time and all the editing hours and all the frustrations you run into when something happens with one of your tanks, and then you have to, because you kind of live in a glass house, just like the fish, you have to show it to the viewers, or the time you spend in editing videos into 1 a.m. because you want to get it out by tomorrow morning. All of that, none of that matters when I run into somebody like you, and you tell me what you've gotten out of the channel. I think that's so awesome. This is a little bag I got from from Vibes Aquatics and I Vibes and Oink Master Supreme. You had a little bit of concern about how you looked on camera. I thought you looked great. We are our worst critics, you know. It's like when you hear yourself on a recording, right? You're like, oh, do I sound like that? I sound so goofy. We are. Anyway, he brought me this, and it's a fluid situation. It says on the back, thanks, bro, for all you do for the fish community, Vibes Aquatics, Eddie. And he gave me, fittingly enough, a bag of Texas pecan coffee. And I'm going to be brewing some of that up. Yes, sirree. So, hey, thank you, Eddie, Vibes Aquatics, Oink Master, and Frank Vera and Roland and all of you that I ran into there. Of course, Jerry and I hung out. Now, a big shout out to Jerry Martin, Jerry's Fish Room. Be sure to check out his channel, Jerry's Fish Room, on YouTube. He actually volunteered and served as the personal guide for Brandon, the blind fish keeper. So he took him to all the exhibits and explained things to him, and more or less was, you know, his seeing eye fish keeper. And the at one point there was an interesting irony, because they had a blindfolded aquascaping contest, and there was Brandon in the audience with Jerry, and I thought it was just kind of interesting that here we have somebody who does actually aquascape blind. I mean, they should have brought him up as a keynote speaker to the people that were there and to talk about life as an aquascaper when you are blind. But anyway, Jerry, hats off to you, my friend, for taking the time to show him around and take good care of him. Crawdaddy Quando is here. Darren is here. And let's see. And let's see if you have any questions for me. I'm going to go ahead and peruse the I'm going to take a look here at the chat. Now, did I miss let's see here. Did I miss any super chats? If I did, I'm sorry. And big shout out to the CC Custom Leatherworks. I'm glad you liked it, my friend. And let's see here. There was one. I think I got it from Danny Lopez, and that was the super chats are just a way to throw a little money at the channel using the link at the bottom of the chat. So I'm glad you liked that. And let's go through some of the comments and questions. Any questions you have for me, go ahead and ask them now, and I will try and take them up. And Jeff, you're right. There's so much going on that you really can't get with as many as you'd like, and you can't spend the time. It's like a big family reunion that's just one night, and at the end of the night you realize, oh, I hardly spoke with my favorite cousin at all. We were just so busy talking to everybody that at the end of the night you realize you really didn't spend as much time as you wish you could have. But so I'm going to go through the chat here. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now, and I will be happy to. If I don't get to your question, I'm sorry. Sometimes it happens. Tank Boss 5.9. Hey, Ben, got a 210 with 20, mostly juvies. That's a great size to have juvies in. Those juvies are going to be so happy in a tank that size, and they're going to grow really quick. And if they grow up together with that much size, they may actually end up getting along together. One of the theories I've heard from people who keep cichlids, both the South and Central and the African cichlids, one of the theories I've heard is that if they grow up together, they will. There's a greater chance that they will get along. And of course, you always have to add, unless that little switch in their brain flips and they lose their minds. So 210, 20, mostly juvies. A couple started coloring up, and some have not yet. My Tank Boss red shoulder breeded with one of my lemon jakes. Wow. What should I do with her? Well, you could give her away. You could take her to the local fish store. Just make sure they know it's a female. And I'd like to see those juvies. Probably going to get some really interesting, a red shoulder and a lemon jake. You could end up with some pretty interesting looking fish. I suspect they would probably have an attitude. Lemon jakes already are notorious for having a little bit of an attitude, a little bit like an otter point or a Eureka red, right? They're part of that family of fish. And but I would just take her to the local fish store. And that is the downside of buying juvies. I mean, you do save a lot of money, and that's why I tell people buy 3 to 5 juvies at a time of a particular kind of fish. Right? Buy 5 trout, buy 5 sand divers, buy 5 eye biters, and juvies, 1 inch, right? About 1 inch long, and put them in the tank, and then pick the pick of the litter. The ones that look the best, keep those. Keep the one that looks the best and give away or sell the other ones. It's usually pretty easy. Local fish store will gladly take cichlids. I mean, they're really hard to get, and in most, even the best local fish stores, all you see is usually a tank of, mixed African cichlids, and so it's very rare that they even see something like a sand diver or a Malawi, like a trout, or they'd probably would love to have one of those. So yeah, just drop them off at the local. Put them in Craigslist. You might be able to sell them. You'd be surprised. Someone out there might need a female lemon jake because they're trying to breed a lemon jake that they have. You put it in Craigslist. If you don't get any nibbles for a week or two, go ahead and just take it to the local fish store. So I hope that helped. And GP, Ben speaks, GP, Spanish era mi primera lengua. That was the first thing I spoke. Hablé español antes que hablé inglés. Entonces fui para la escuela y aprendí inglés. I learned English in school. I did not know how to speak English when I was 4 years old. And English is my second language. So let's see here. I don't know. Is James going to Dallas? Patrick Maloney says, I'll see you in Dallas. James, are you going to Dallas? That'd be kind of cool. And we can take some photos and video of your new spot and just kind of groove people in. And Amber Key, yes, lots of joy, lots of good vibes. I'll tell you, if you want to get re-inspired, and I'll tell you what was so inspiring for me at Aquashella was the excitement that everybody else had was very contagious. But also looking at the direction of the hobby, there didn't seem, as you saw in the interviews with those fish keepers, of which, right? Zenzo is affiliated with Aquarium Co-op. They import a tremendous number of fish, and they transport them across state lines. Flip Aquatics does, right? And I'm sure probably Primetime does as well. And so. And of course John over at KG Tropicals. None of them really seemed worried. And for those of you in Europe, outside of the United States, the Lacey Act is an attempt by government to expand a rule that's been in effect since like 1900 that tries to control what can be brought in. Imported, exported, and cross state lines. They're trying to control a problem with invasive species that come into the country. I'll give you an example. Have you folks ever bought decorative bamboo? Just those little pots with bamboo in them? And some people use them in their hang-on back filters, right? Some people. And those things brought a type of mosquito into the United States that can bite you during the day. So I used to get mosquito bites like after dark, around dusk. Our indigenous, our native mosquitoes would bite us when the sun sets. Well, now we have these things called tiger mosquitoes, courtesy of eggs that came in on those bamboos. And now we have these mosquitoes that bite us all day long. Oh, joy, right? So they try and control things like that. The importing of timber from areas that shouldn't be harvested, the importing of species that are on the endangered list. So, it's something that I agree with, but very often what happens, of course, is that government will try to overreach and overregulate and could end up impacting the hobby where you're not going to be able to get fish that really have never been an invasive problem. They just don't happen to be on the allowed list, and so you can't get them. Well, we don't see cardinal tetras on the allowed list, so you can't get cardinal tetras or something like that. But the general consensus among the folks I spoke to at the show, not just the ones you saw, but others as well, is that we don't need to panic. We have a year to take action, even if it passes both houses with the amendments, with the changes to it. We still have a year to challenge it, so it can get challenged in the courts. And I am positive that your big importers, your big box stores, right, your pet supermarkets, your Petco, PetSmarts, people like that, they're gonna fight it. They're gonna put money into it, and they're gonna increase public awareness. And you saw ZoomEd. ZoomEd was passing out information on what to do, who to call, what you should say, who to contact, and you'll see some ZoomEd information in one of the upcoming vendor videos. So if you're in Europe, that's what's going on here. Never a dull moment. And so let's see. Any other comments? I see a few comments that were removed by my ever alert moderators. Best moderators on YouTube, John Wallace, right? GP and Denny. And see here. Don't think I'll be going to Aquashella in Chicago either, Oink Master. And but I do love going to Orlando. It's relatively close. I can get a non-stop there. And you're right, Tetra Guy, Texas. It's very gray, and that also makes it dangerous. Like, let's say you are living in California, like I was, and you need to get to Tennessee. There might be certain rules about being able to bring your dog. Like, I might have to drive like around New Mexico because you can't bring a dog across state line. I mean, there's crazy ideas about it, and how they're going to enforce this, I don't know. I've said it before. They bring human slaves in cargo containers in through San Pedro and Los Angeles, and in through the port of Washington, up in Washington State, and they bring them in from China and other places. They can't regulate that. They can't regulate humans being brought in illegally. It makes me wonder how they're going to regulate, bringing in a couple hundred lemon tetras. I mean, I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out, and go from there. So I see you have some very good conversations going on between you here, and that is good. I love that you folks do that. Dave Hibbert, Arcadia. Hey, Dave. I miss Arcadia sometimes, but I'll tell you right now, we've got spring conditions here in Nashville. We're supposed to have a thunderstorm tomorrow, I think, but it is gorgeous here, and I see birds here that I never saw in California. Beautiful red cardinals and massive orange-breasted robins, and just gorgeous stuff you just don't see in California. And I'm not I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but I don't miss California at all. I do miss the beaches. I miss beaches. I love the beach, and but at any rate, everything else, I'm very happy I'm here. And peas and haps forever. I can't see them passing anything so too drastic. There is so much money spent in the hobby and so many businesses that would be affected for them to cripple us. I think you're right. And also, let me tell you, there's a human like service animal side to it too. If I had $1 for every person that's told me that fish keeping has kept them sane, especially during COVID, people that have had diagnosed with psychological issues, post-traumatic syndromes, right? Things like that, coming back from active duty, and their aquarium and working on their aquarium and aquascaping, and it gives them a calmness that has far fewer side effects than some of these antidepressants, which if you sit and study the side effects, will scare the living daylights out of you. And if a person can get relief by working on an aquarium, by having a dog, by taking care of birds, by having a boa that they hang out with, so there's that side of it too. There's the human side of it. Now, the other side of it too is there are people out there that are idiots, and they release fish that shouldn't be, like the plecos down in Florida, the pythons in the Everglades. They release apex predators into the wild, and you just shouldn't do that. You don't release a piranha into your local lake. You don't release Oscars into the local. I mean, you can go and you can fish in Florida right now and catch Oscars. You can catch, red tiger Oscars, and albino Oscar in Florida. So there's that side of it too. People have their own responsibility in it too, and there are idiots out there who would buy a rhino horn, where a rhino was killed, or a tusk from an elephant. You kill this giant, magnificent animal for just a horn or a tusk. So, there has to be some regulation. It's a spectrum, and we need to be sensible in the spectrum. And so, hopefully, reason will prevail, right? Fish Ranch, you're gonna have to watch the replay to catch the video of all the wonderful people that actually about half of the wonderful people I bumped into at Aquashella. So be sure to watch that replay. And all right. Anything else that you'd like to ask? In India, fish keeping hobby is increasing exponentially. It's increased here dramatically, and I think that people being, sort of sequestered, having to stay home, either through mandates or by choice, I think has boomed the hobby. And people have taken those tanks that were sitting in the garage and gotten them cleaned up and gotten them going. A lot of us have expanded what we do, so that some people that were only keeping goldfish are now keeping betta, are now doing planted tanks, are now doing. So we are in the middle of a boom in the hobby. So I like it. And when I was at Aquashella, I tell you, the things that I saw emphasized the most, and this speaks to the future of the hobby. I saw a lot of emphasis, interestingly enough, on betta. I saw more betta than I ever saw before. There's obviously a lot of interest in keeping bettas. They are absolutely gorgeous. And my little mustard gas betta is doing phenomenal, Mr. Mustard. I can see him from here swimming around. And I picked up some fluval betta flakes. Got up a little treat while I was over at Aquashella. I also noticed a tremendous interest in aquascaping. Aquascaping was one of the things that everywhere you turned in Aquashella, something was going on with regards to aquascaping. So I love what I'm seeing there. The use of the interesting ways that you can position wood and plants on the wood, plants around the wood, what type of fish to use in it, how to lay it out. Just amazing. And I'm going to be picking up, and you'll see this in the vendor video, the Aquashella vendor and products video, which should be out, I hope, by tomorrow, but we'll see. It's my wife's birthday, so my evening is a little bit tied up. We're taking her out to dinner. But there was a vendor selling wood at Aquashella, and the most beautiful pieces of driftwood you've ever seen. And for that 7-foot tank, I'm going to put I'm gonna try and find like a 3-piece and like a 5-piece. I mean, a 3-foot and a 5-foot piece of interesting, like, really like twisted and thick wood, and attach a lot of plants to it, and just try and just run a piece of wood across the aquarium, and it'll provide like a hiding spot. And but maybe do it in two, maybe up to 2/3, maybe even 1/3. It's a 7-foot tank, 7 feet across, 300 gallons. I'm having the stand delivered in a week. I'll have the stand here, and I'm gonna start doing the plumbing and the electrical, some of the rudimentary, stuff. And so I'll be picking up some wood, probably from that vendor, and figuring out how I'm gonna do the filtering. But definitely, I was inspired with regards to aquascaping, and also the interest in shrimp. Tremendous interest in shrimp. Jerry Martin, Jerry's Fish Room. He bit really hard. He got a hold of some shrimp while he was there, and anyway, just beautiful shrimp. And so I saw beautiful examples of shrimp, beautiful examples of wood and the use of wood in aquascaping, and I saw some beautiful betta. And so there's a definite interest in that. Also, I saw a lot of koi, beautiful koi, and so koi seemed to be really catching on. And of course, if you can buy a koi for $10, if you can buy one like this, it's $10. I mean, I don't know, what does it take? 20 years to you look at some of these videos from Japan of these prominent people that sell koi. These koi can sell for many thousands of dollars, especially if they have the colors of the Japan flag, which they consider to be good luck to have a koi like that. And these things are monsters, monstrous fish, this thick around, this big, and you can barely get your arms around it, and you'll pay $10,000 for a big specimen. So a lot of interest in koi as well. So yeah, Jerry's all in. He's all in with shrimp. And I learned a few things while I was there about shrimp, about their substrate, about how you have to drip acclimate certain kinds of fish, or certain kinds of shrimp, rather. I'm a flop and dropper, so I would have flopped and dropped my shrimp and probably killed him if he was the kind of shrimp that needed drip acclimation. So, Amber Key, add another branch to the government, the fish police. Can you imagine getting pulled over? Excuse me, but I think I see a bag of fish in your back seat. Can I? Do you mind if I look through your car? Doesn't care about the kilo of grass and the 2 loaded shotguns. It's that bag of Tetras. That's what's got the policeman really worried. Oh my goodness, I'm being silly. All right, so let's take a look here. Now, let me show you something. And, sometimes I do this. I'm going to turn the camera and see if I can show you something, because you won't believe this. Hold on one second. I evened out that aquarium like a day ago. I mean, everything was nice and smooth and flat, and all the rocks and decor were exactly where they were supposed to be. And so if you get Central or South American cichlids, and you're thinking that you can have rooted plants that are not attached to a boulder, you better think again. Because if there were plants in this tank, they'd all be floating and probably destroyed. I mean, can you believe that? On the left corner there, on your screen, I guess, I don't know if it's reversed, but I'll show you. There's a cave in the corner, and that cave is being defended by the 2 Nicaragua cichlids, especially trying to keep away that blue zonatus that you see there, that vieja zonatus, who's just an absolute beast. And they double team him and try and keep him out of that corner. And I think they were going to lay eggs, but I don't know. It's probably too stressed in there to lay eggs for them. If I had another tank set up, I'd probably put him in there and I'd have baby Nicaragua cichlids. You can see the Jack Dempsey is absolutely gorgeous. He just hangs around, doesn't really mess with anybody. The Surimanensis are looking good. Everybody's looking good. It got a little wild for a few minutes. AC Hecla looks good. The Severum actually had a little bit of fin damage before, but he's all healed up now. So it calmed down once the Nicaraguans calmed down. But there you go. You see that? The Zonatus is going to go in there and check out their cave. Just to piss them off. He has no interest in that cave, but he's going to go in there just to assert that the aquarium is his. That's all he's doing there. He's just being a jerk. That cave is a rented condominium. It is being paid for by the Nicaragua cichlids. So you have that big blue Zonatus. He's like, hey man, look, I'm the landlord. I can go in there anytime I want, and I don't need a warrant. And anyway, he just really asserts himself. So I just wanted to show you. You can barely see the giant piece of that Zoomed driftwood in the middle of the tank there. It's almost entirely buried, and the caves and the driftwood to the left of the cave and the rocks, they're all caved in because the Nicaraguans just moved so much sand, and now the Zonatus comes in and goes, you want this cave, you're going to have to pay a lot more rent. So anyway, just wanted to show you that. This tank is doing great. This is the South and Central American grow-out tank. Little dwarf rainbows in there. A couple beautiful electric blue Acaras that are just getting really big and bulky. And there's my little green tear going across the screen there. And the green tear, there was another one in there that was getting a little bit emaciated. His stomach was starting to shrink a little bit. So I put him actually in the 29-gallon in a community tank with a bunch of embers and lemon tetras and rummy nose, fish that you would never put a green tear with, and he's thriving in there. His stomach is filled out, and he's able to compete for food. He wasn't able to get to food. He was too intimidated to get to food. Red spot Severums doing great. Sometimes they get into it with each other. You can see the little chocolate cichlid lives in that cave right there. And there's 2 chocolate cichlids in there. So eventually, as these fish put on size, I'm going to have to split up these fish. Just like I'm going to have to split up some of the Central and South American fish in the 90-gallon. Just like I learned that, over time with experience, that maybe I shouldn't put Mabuna with peacocks. I've been sort of getting more information, finding out that maybe my South American cichlids should be kept separate from the ones that are in that come from Mexico or northern Central America, things of this nature. So apparently your South and Central American cichlids, they also, for more peace, should be divided. Now, anytime you say that, you're going to have someone tell you, look, I've got a tank with Viejas and with Geos, and they're doing fine. So there's going to be exceptions to every rule. And maybe if they all grew up together, that would be better. But at any rate, I just want to give you an update on this. You can see that Zonatus is just completely just blown up. See that with the chair. Not sure you can even see the 2 other viejas that I had to pull out of there because there was just too much aggression. Separated with a divider. While at Aquashella, the people that make the dividers, the tank dividers, ran into me at Aquashella, and they gave me a big thank you for having talked about their product after the last Aquashella that I went to last summer. And they informed me that they are coming out with a divider for a 55-gallon. The one I have in there now is designed for a 29-gallon. I have it sort of, repurposed using a lot of substrate to hold it up and things. It's not made for a 55, but it's doing the job. It's keeping the two viejas apart. But now they have a divider that is specific for a 55. So I'm going to be getting one of those. If you own cichlids, it's probably a really good idea to have some dividers available, because the time will come when you're going to need to keep a couple fish away from each other for a variety of reasons. So all right. So where are we at here? Let's see. Any other questions I need to take up? If I miss your question, again, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just can't. I don't get to it, or I miss it for some reason. I don't ignore you. I'm not upset with you. I just don't see your question sometimes. I'm sorry. I did see there was another super chat. Hey, Jerry. Jerry comes through. Not only does he volunteer his time, but throws $5 into the pot. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. Redecorating is what they do best. Stop fighting it, Ben. They are better aquascapers than you. Yeah, well, that ain't saying much. I'm an amateur aquascaper. All right. So let's see here. Brat Face, I use Prime. Prime's a good product. Recently, only because of the people I work with, I use Fritz Complete. But whenever I do a water change or anything major to the aquarium, add a bunch of fish, take out decor, swap out, take out some substrate. Whenever I do anything that could possibly disrupt the tank, I add like the equivalent of Prime. I add Fritz Complete, but I used Prime for many, many years, and I liked it. I think it's a good product, and I had great success with it. It neutralizes things. It doesn't add. If you want to add bacteria, you have to go with something like Chem Stability. Even though my favorite product for adding bacteria, my favorite way of adding bacteria is used filter media, number one. Use filter media and decor and substrate from an established tank. That's the best way to add bacteria. Second best way, I think, is the Fritz Zyme products, like Fritz Zyme 7. I think that's a very good product for adding bacteria. So, just my take on it. Yunque Moreno. Hey, Ben, how much longer for the big tank? The big tank is going to have South Americans in it, and the stand is being delivered next week, which is going to allow me to get the electrical done. I've got a quote. It's about around $500. I've got to add some sockets. I'm going to add another circuit for more amperage so that I don't blow a fuse, and I'm going to run some plugs down along the floor, standing up off the floor. And so there's some work to be done, right? So I'm going to get the stand first, and then I need to get about 6 people here so that when they deliver the tank, we can move it up onto the stand. It is incredibly heavy. Glass cages uses like 3/4 to 1 inch glass, Plus, they use a European brace on the top and the bottom, and they reinforce the corners with these triangular long pieces that go into the corners. This gives you many, many more inches, square inches of silicone adhesive. So the chance of tank failure becomes next to nothing. The downside of it is that those tanks are unbelievably heavy. So I'm going to need some help. I'm going to need probably 5 or 6 people here at the house. We're going to unload it and put it onto a rolling cart, bring it in, and then lift it up. And Joe will probably deliver it himself. Maybe he'll bring a friend. He does bring the big industrial suction cup, moving things that you hold on to. They give you handles, and they really lock down tight. They're made for moving heavy stuff. So he'll bring some of those with him. So that'll be good. And thank you, Jerry. Very nice of you to say that. And it looks like somebody jumped in with a super chat. And I want to say thank you. Yunque Moreno, $5. Thank you, my friend. And I love the little hippo in there. Thank you, Yunque. Is that your name, Yunque? That's a very cool, if that is your name, very cool sounding Yunque. Hey, Solar King Ronnie, good to see you. Would I prefer not to add any additional bacteria from a bottle? Yeah, and some people feel strongly about that. And the cichlid shack is pushing for the African cichlids into the 300. And when that Malawi trout starts to reach his size, 14 inches, right? I'm going to say, James, you were right. I should have put the Africans. Maybe by then we'll have another 300. So, wink, wink. All right. So let's see here. Angelo Mele, that's the problem I have. I have a 75 in my Jeep and need help getting it into the house. I'll tell you, those things are huge. Now, and if there's one case for acrylic tanks, it's got to be weight. I mean, yeah, they're pretty. They have a very high level of being able to be seen through, right? They have a clarity that is better than floated glass, regular glass. Probably a little bit better maybe than low iron, but not as good as sapphire glass. And sapphire glass is, if you look at the live stream that Joe and I gave from Aquashella, you'll see sapphire glass next to low iron. Unbelievable. And Glass Cages is switching entirely to sapphire glass, and it's just a beautiful product. But acrylic tanks, I moved with one other fellow about my age. We moved a 6-foot, 150-gallon tank with a couple, maybe 100 pounds of. We took a lot of it out, but there's probably about 100 pounds of substrate left in it. The two of us moved it and loaded it into the back of his truck. No problem. So much lighter. You start getting into those thick glass tanks, forget about it. You're getting up into 300, 400, 500 pounds. 500 pounds of dead weight is a tremendous amount of weight. So anyway. Well, CC Custom, you'd probably, first of all, there shouldn't be anything smelling. If something is smelling in your tanks, something is probably wrong. You shouldn't have any smell. None. Zero. If it's a bad smell, it's a sign that there is a small amount of pollution going on. So you should probably lift up some of your decor and see if anything's there, including fish. Sometimes fish will die and for some reason weasel their way under a piece of decor where they'll rot and pollute your tank. But there shouldn't be any there really shouldn't be a smell. Now, in the meantime, you can add something like you can add Purigen, Decam Purigen. You can add Boyd Industries makes a clear their clear products, right? Their water clarifying products, and whose name escapes me. You can also add just activated charcoal. Secam makes a charcoal called Matrix, which is amazing. You can put it into a fine mesh bag, rinse it under running water, throw it in your tank. Get all the dust out of it. Put it in your filter for about a month, and then pull it out and throw it away. And it should take the smell away. But I would be curious. I'd want to dig in and find out what's behind the smell and fix that, because there shouldn't be a smell. There should be it should be a pleasant odor, the smell of fresh water when you sniff that tank. And but anyway, yeah, charcoal should help. Activated carbon, that'll help. All right, let me see. Any more questions? And to Barrack Aquatics, you're right. I mean, it could actually, the Lacey Act could be something positive, and I hope it is. I hope it is. I don't want fish that are on the endangered list. I don't want fish that, if released, could actually decimate local waterways. I don't want plants that, if they grow, like certain kinds of vines and mosses, like you see in Savannah, Spanish moss, things like that, they could grow and strangle out everything else, because I don't want that. I don't want that brought in. And so yeah, it should be something positive. But how many government programs start off as something well intended, and then they spin off into something that is oppressive, right? I mean, it's sort of the way governments roll, right? Not just our government, but all governments in general. All right, so let's see here. So let's do this. What do you say? What do you say we throw some? What do you say we throw some frozen krill in this tank here? Let's see how fast the big boys get rid of it. Let's take a look here. All right, let's see. Are you having any difficulties on your end with the picture? Let me know. It seems a little frozen on my end. Hopefully it's not frozen on your end. All right, let's throw a little bit of frozen krill into the big boys tank. Like watching piranha eat. All right. So, with that feeding in mind, and fish walking around like they have a cigar in their mouth with a big piece of krill hanging out of it, let's go ahead and start to wrap this up. Thank you to all of you for joining me today, and a big shout out, of course, to the moderators who work to keep it all smooth, and also a big shout out, of course, to James over at the Cichlid Shack. Every cichlid you see in this tank here is from the shack. Don't forget to use your discount codes if you order from the shack. And Oink Master Supreme, one last question before I go. What did you think of the Gaylord facility itself? I always saw the conference center, but other people's videos, it looks, the Gaylord is amazing. It's like a city within a city. You are going to spend a lot of money. You're sort of captured there. So you're going to end up, eating there and spending all your time there. And it's not cheap, but it is a beautiful facility. We have one here. We have the Opryland, Gaylord Opryland here in Nashville. Same company. And basically, it's a city disguised as a hotel. You've got waterworks and waterfalls and alligators living in the middle of it, and turtles. And here in Opryland, in the Nashville one, we have there's a river. You can take raft rides that take you all through the middle of it. It's a long, like a meandering sort of river thing that goes around the inside of the facility, and it's got hundreds of like 100 venues, right? Restaurants and bars and shops, and it's like going to Disneyland. So I love it, and I plan on going back to the Orlando Aquashella without question. It's just a great facility, and I do it with your support. I thank you for your support, your super chats, your Patreon memberships, and just you watching the videos. I mean, that's what makes it all possible. And of course, the support of people like James at the Cichlid Shack and Aquarium Co-op and other folks that over the years have helped my channel out and promoted the channel. So at any rate, thank you so much. If you caught the video late, be sure to watch the special video within this video on the people of Aquashella. Okay? And that's it for me, my friends. You are the best. I appreciate you being here. And I will see you next week. And watch for Aquashella vendors video and Aquashella the fish video, where I show the fish from Aquashella. All right? That's it for me. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.